almost 9 months, when I finally understood what was required to become a real Christian. It's found in Romans 10 and 9. If you confess with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe that Jesus died that Jesus died on the cross for our sins, you will be saved. Now I knew that until I got up here, but unfortunately my mind seems to go blank as soon as I see somebody watching me. 4 years before that, I had one of the happiest days of my life, and yet it turned out to be one of the very worst. My son was going to Harvey High School in Illinois, and they had just won the state basketball championship. And that Sunday morning, we all went to the big celebration at the high school. We've been following that season all year. And about an hour after we arrived home, my husband decided to turn on the TV and relax. And that's when he had his first heart attack. Not only did I lose my husband, I felt I lost all my friends. Somehow or other, being a young widow, people were thinking that my character had changed just because of widowhood. There was only one family that I could count on to treat me the same way that I had been treated before. What was so painful the following 2 years was watching my children hurt so badly, and I didn't know how to help them. We're all so crushed. But what happened when I got saved that Sunday morning, when I went to the altar, it felt like a huge load was lifted off my shoulders. And I remember asking the Lord, what's next? Next year will be 50 years ago, and I think he's still answering that question. I believe the Lord wants me to share 3 life-giving or life-altering encounters with the Holy Spirit with you. One of them happened in 1980. My daughter, who was single at the time, needed surgery. By that time, I lived in Arkansas. She lived in Indiana. And the plan was that when she found out when the surgery was going to be done, I would go and be with her and then take care of her. But early that day, the Holy Spirit, with a still small voice, said to me, don't wait, go now. I had a very, very difficult time accepting that. I went to my daughter, I went to my husband, and asked them if there any good reason why I should leave now. Nobody knew. They both told me the same thing. Do what you think is necessary. And so what was happening is whenever I thought about going, I had a real peace in my soul. But when I let my mind take over and go with the plan, I felt terribly, terribly unsettled and upset. This went back and forth for several hours that day, and I finally decided I liked the peaceful feeling better, so I finally backed up and went. Found out later that I was there when she needed me the most. It's just that she had grown to monumental proportions, and it was pressing on her spinal column. She could no longer drive comfortably. It was displacing all of her organs, and so she needed me when the Lord sent me. In 1985, my husband was in the VA hospital in North Little Rock for the last 2 years of his life. I stayed with him. They let me bring in a cot. And he was having a lot of trouble choking one day. So when the doctor came in, I asked him if he couldn't do something to help him. And he said, oh, it's only going to get worse. And I was shocked with that. And so he decided to explain to me that the nerves that controlled the throat muscles were being affected by his brain tumor, and that's why he was choking. When the doctor left, the Holy Spirit told me that what I needed to do was to sing praise songs to my husband. The whole time I was singing praise songs over his bed, I felt like if anybody from the staff came in, they'd haul me away to the insane asylum. Who sings praise songs over his dying husband? But the thing that happened was he finally quieted, and I can't remember him ever choking again after that. In 1989, I was driving down Highway 86, and I thought I was going to Branson, but I saw a sign on the highway, and it said Wives of the Construction Boys Ranch is taking responsibility to clean up that section of the highway. And I felt so compelled to turn down that highway that I decided that I'd better do it. When I arrived at the dorm, I decided that I was probably all wrong, and I was ready to turn around. But Ken came out of the dorm, and he greeted me with, "What can I do for you?" And so I felt, since I was in his property, I had to go in and explain why I was there. Every time I think about that first encounter with Ken, I have to laugh, because right in the middle of it, I said, blurted out, "I don't even know if this is a Christian organization." He finally said, yes, it was, and just that morning, they were praying that the couple that was going to leave for Michigan be replaced by someone the Lord would send in. She had been his secretary. And so Ken invited me to have dinner or supper with the boys. And I'll never forget that, because what I saw of the way that he was disciplining was so foreign to me, because I did not grow up in a Christian home. After I became his secretary, I soon found out that Ken and Sheila had left a very lovely home in South Dakota to live in an 8-by-8-foot well house until the mobile homes that they were going to have installed on the property were actually there. And after I was working closely with both of them, I found out that Ken had two main objectives. Number one was he wanted the boys to experience what it felt like to be satisfied with a job well done, and so he made sure that the boys learned to work hard. But the more important thing that he wanted to teach them was to know that sometime in this life, we all have to make a big decision. Are we going to believe God, or are we not? Ken knew that God will allow us to go our own way, let us suffer consequences for our actions, and most of the time we get into big trouble if we go that route. Or we could do what Jeremiah 7:23 says. But I explicitly commanded them, obey my voice, and I will be your God, and you will be my people. Walk in all the ways that I command you, that it may go well with you. I feel it's been a real privilege to be associated with this ranch since March of 1989. It's 30 years plus, and I learned so much by the example that Ken and Sheila had set before me. I'd like to thank all of you for coming out and for sharing this day, because I know it's important to the boys and the staff to be able to show you what they've learned here. Thank you.